So I'm Jamil B. Luminog, a registered criminologist with my master's degree in criminal justice and major in criminology as your demo lecturer for today. Our topic for today is the CDI 1, Fundamentals of Criminal Investigation and Intelligence. Chapter 1, the Criminal Investigation Procedure. So let's proceed for the criminal investigation. In the Philippines, criminal investigation is a systematic process grounded in a strong legal framework. It entails the discovery, collection, analysis, and presentation of evidence to establish facts and identify offenders. That is the whole idea or the definition of criminal investigation in the Philippines. So this presentation examines the structured procedures employed by law enforcement agencies such as the Philippine National Police and the National Bureau of Investigation, the two main agency in law enforcement, emphasizing compliance with constitutional rights and judicial standards. So they always follow the constitutional rights and judicial standards. So hindi sila pwedeng lumagpas doon. So this discussion will provide a comprehensive overview of criminal investigation process in the Philippines, highlighting its foundational legal principles and the sequential phases involved. In legal framework, the pillars of criminal investigation are deeply rooted in the following, such as the 1987 Philippine Constitution, particularly its Bill of Rights, which safeguards due process and the rights against self-incrimination. These are the highest form in law enforcement. The 1987 Philippine Constitutions, lalong-lalo na yung Article 3, the Bill of Rights. Dahil nandito ang tinatawag natin na due process and the rights against self-incrimination. Walang pwedeng tao na incriminate itself. Okay? Next po natin is the Revised Penal Code, RPC, the rules of courts, especially Rule 1112 on preliminary investigation. Always, kapag ka-criminal investigation, ito yung pinaka-basic na dapat susundin ni investigator. The Republic Act number 6975, which is the DILG Act of 1990. And then the Republic Act 8551, which is the PNP Reform Act, yung pinaka tinitignan ng Philippine National Police. And then one of the most controversial at laging nagkakaroon ng sablay, sasabi natin sumasablay talaga ang mga law enforcement kasi wala namang perfect na tao, the Republic Act 7438, the rights of persons arrested, detained, and under custodial investigations. So dito, ito yung pinaka-highest form na dapat nilang tignan na hindi ba sila lumagpas doon sa ginawa nilang paghuli? Hindi ba sila lumagpas doon sa ginawa nilang detain doon sa tao? Hindi ba sila lumagpas doon sa pagkulong doon sa tao? So ito yung pinaka-framework or ito yung pinaka-tinitignan ng mga law enforcement dahil hindi ito pwedeng ma-violate kasi kapag na-violate ito, meron itong mga consequences sa law enforcers. These statutes collectively ensures the investigation are conducted with integrity and respect for fundamental human rights. So yun ang pinaka-konsepto ng Republic Act na number 7438. So what are the phases of criminal investigation? Ang criminal investigation procedure in the Philippines is structured into distinct phases, each critical for ensuring the thoroughness and legality of the process. These phases are designed to systematically gather information and evidence leading towards the successful prosecution of offenders. Kasi sa 5 pillars of criminal justice system, ang unang-unang mag-i-initiate palagi is the law enforcers. So ang susunod dito, which is the second pillar, which is the prosecution or the prosecutor. So sa prosecutor, doon sila determine ang probable cause. Pero ang initiation ng law enforcement ay manggagaling lagi sa law enforcers. Ang next po natin, the process begins with the following. It's either in the crimes in response, preliminary investigation conducted by prosecutors to determine probable cause, follow-up investigations, arrest and custodial investigation, case build-up, ensure proper filing of the judicial system. Each phase adheres to strict legal protocols and mandates preserving the integrity of the evidence. Okay? The integrity of the evidence. Kasi later on, ito ay magiging part ng court presentation. Kapag yung integrity ng evidence is nawala or nagkaroon siya ng pagkakamali during the process, hindi ito pwedeng maging admissible in presentation of the courts. Kailangan yung integrity, ma-maintain yun para kapag pinresent siya sa courts, wala siyang ah, hindi siya mahanapan ng butas. Kasi ang conviction is beyond reasonable doubt. Kapag ka nagkaroon lang ng katiting na doubt during the trial sa court, maaaring ma-acquit si offender. So sayang ang effort ng law enforcement up to the prosecution kung hindi ito ma-convict. Okay? And the rights of all involved parties. Next natin, the role of investigative agencies. Various specialized agencies are tasked with enforcing the law and conducting criminal investigation in the Philippines. Ang first natin dito, each agency possesses distinct mandates and areas of expertise contributing uniquely to the nation's judicial systems. So yun po yung pinaka-basis na dapat sundin ng mga law enforcement natin. So effective interagency cooperation is crucial for addressing the diverse landscape of criminal activities from street-level offenses to complex syndicated crimes. So ito po yung una natin, which is the Philippine National Police. Philippine National Police conducts initial and follow-up investigations, crime scene response, and general law enforcement operations. Ito yung pinaka-mandate ng Philippine National Police. General Law Enforcement Operations. Next po natin is the Bureau of Customs. Investigates and prevents customs fraud, smuggling, and other violations of tariff and customs law. Kung ito naman yung kapag ka doon sa mga port natin, mapapasok at lalabas ng mga goods sa bansa natin. Sila yung uh, pinaka nakataw ka dyan, nakatask dyan. So kung hihingi sila ng tulong from the PNP, maaari silang humingi ng tulong. Kung hihingi sila ng tulong sa NBI, maaari silang humingi ng tulong. Pero yung pinaka mangunguna doon sa investigation will be the Bureau of Customs kapag ang involved na ay about sa tariff and customs laws. The CIDG, which is the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group. Ito yung specialized unit for the PNP focus in major crimes such as organized crime and economic sabotage. Yung so mga hinahawakan ng CIDG is more on uh, malalaking cases na talagang nakaka-apekto na siya sa pambansang katahimikan natin. So sila yung pinapadala para investigate, i-arrest, and magkaroon ng pagkakataon na ma-convict yung mga involved personnel or involved persons. Next naman natin is the NBI, the National Bureau of Investigation. Handles conflicts crimes such as cybercrime, corruption, syndicated crime, human trafficking, and other cases requiring the specialized investigative techniques and national reach. So, kaya kadalasan doon sa, kung makikita natin doon sa requirements nila kapag magiging aplikante ka as investigation, special investigators or NBI agent, ang quality, ang requirements, basic requirements doon is attorney or CPA. So, pero ngayon, nagkaroon sila ng rulings na binibigyan nila ng pagkakataon as special investigators yung mga criminologists. O bira lang yun kapag nagkaroon lang ng available na plantilyo. So, ito yung pinaka National Bureau Investigation natin. So, more on complex talaga yung malalaking mga cases na mga hinahawakan nila, mga sensational cases ang mga tinitake over nila yung sa PNP. Kapag mga sensational cases na yung hawak nila ng PNP, tas ang nagtitake over madalas doon is yung NBI.
Okay, sir, may
Yes, sir.
question ako. Can you
Yes, sir.
bring back that slide?
Yes, sir.
Question lang ako. You mentioned that NBI would be known for specialized investigative techniques.
Yes,
Can
sir.
you cite examples of these investigative techniques?
One of their investigative techniques is yung kanilang forensics, mga forensic laboratories,
Okay.
like the yan nila, yung ballistic reports nila, ballistic forensics nila, and
Okay.
then lie detection techniques nila, yung polygraph machines.
Okay.
And in approach ng investigative, kapag ka meron silang nahuli na kailangan nilang i-interrogate or i-interview, yun.
Mhm. Okay, good. Okay, you'll be having some sample questions about this in specialized investigative techniques. You
Doon
have
po sa questions ko for later, opo, meron
meron.
naman po, meron
Oh,
naman po.
sige. So we can now proceed to your next slide, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Next po natin is the Bureau of Internal Revenue, which is the investigates the tax evasions, fraud, and other economic crimes related to internal revenue laws. So doon sila nakafocus naman for the internal revenue laws and economic crimes. The next natin is the National Intelligence Coordinating Agency, which is served as the primary intelligence gathering and analysis agency, providing crucial intelligence to law enforcement on national security threats, including terrorism and organized crime. So sila yung pinaka mataas in terms of intelligence agency. Pagkatapos ng mga intelligence gather from the PNP, from the NBI, from other law enforcement agency, sa kanila yung pinaka mapupunta lahat ng mga intelligence report. And then doon sila magde-determine kung paano nila i-execute 'yon. So well coordinated 'yun sa interagency, kaya lahat ng mga law enforcement agencies may kanya-kanyang representative up to the AFP para magkaroon ng coordinating sa MICA. Next naman natin, ito yung pinaka
Sir,
yes
excuse
sir.
me. Can we have the slide?
Yes sir.
Yeah. What are examples of organized crime? Ano yung tinatawag na organized crime?
Examples of organized crime is, for example, is yung 14K dito, which is isang branch po siya ng Chinese Mafia.
Okay.
Yan po yung mga isang mga branch yun, yung mga gangs na malalaki, mga syndicate na ano sila, na group. Then meron pa mga iba, yung Parohinog crime group dati, pero na ano sila, na destabilize na rin sila. And yung sa terrorism naman, kini-include nila rito yung sa mga Abu Sayyaf, and then ang recognized nila yung Youth People's Army, yung mga armed group naman po, yun yung mga, ang tawag po nila dito is, madalas po ito is yung talagang, ano pinapakawalan talaga. Yung mga personal na pinapadala. In terms of national security, yun talaga yung pinaka-main focus nila na makuha yung mga information para
Okay.
pagka nireport nila pabalik sa kanilang mga offices, yun yung magiging determination nila kung paano nila i-resolve yung solutions doon sa national threat. So
Okay.
maraming ano to, masyadong masalimuot itong Nika kasi talagang lahat ito from Luzon to Mindanao and then outside the country.
Okay. I'm not a criminologist, no, but I like to really ask questions.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Sige. Can we check on the next slide, please?
Yes, sir. Let's proceed to the chain of custody. Ano po yung legal basis and steps nito? Ito yung isa sa pinaka madalas nagiging problema ng mga law enforcers kung paano i-maintain ang chain of custody. Kasi a broken chain will be inadmissible in the court presentation as an evidence. From the start of the makuha yung ebidensya from the crime scene up to the presentation of the evidence in the trial sa court, kailangan ma-maintain yung chain of custody. So ano yung mga legal basis nito? Next natin is the chain of custody evidence in compliance with Rule 126, Section 21, provides rules of criminal procedures. Ito po yung isa sa mga rules natin, general rule, na susundin po lahat ng mga law enforcers. Lahat ng law enforcers dapat ito susundin, lalong-lalo na ang PNP. So, ang PNP ang isa sa pinaka-controversial na sumasablay talaga dito. Siyempre, hindi natin na-perfect yung process. So, kailangan, as much as possible, ma-perfect tong process na to. Sa collection of, from the collection, from identification and markings, lalong-lalo na sa identification and markings. Kasi kapag ka nagkamali po dyan, hindi ito maging admissible. Kailangan, kung boodle money, kung ano yung, or mark money, yun dapat din yung ipipresenta doon sa court presentation. And then the documentation, importante rin to. Kung ano yung mga na-inventory doon during the time of arrest of the suspects. Then yung turn over to the custodian from the documentation kung paano siya na-turn over doon sa magiging custodian officer. Kailangan malinaw din doon at alam ni custodian officer doon. And then from the transport of the evidence. Yung SIG naman, yung received by the next custodian. So kailangan nakadetalye doon kung sino yung sumunod na nakahawak noong ebidensya. Then next naman, sa examination, madalas ito sa mga forensic labs natin, sa forensic group, sa mga doctors natin na nagkakandak, lalong-lalo na sa mga DNA samples, sa mga blood samples, sa mga powder, or doon sa evidence na nakita doon sa crime scene, sila yung nagkakandak ng examination and analysis. And then next naman is yung storage. So ito yung kailangan after the process, may storage, nakadetalye din kung saan siya naitago o kung saan siya nailagay. And then, after the storage, kung kailangan, pag pinatawag na siya or kailangan na siya as presentation in court, kailangan may presenta siya ni law enforcers. Kapag ka hindi ito na-presenta ni law enforcers, itong lahat ng process na to, mawawala yan at hindi siya magiging admissible sa court as an evidence. So ito yung sa general rule sa revised rules of criminal procedures sa Rule 126, Section 21. So ang importance of chain of custody is the chain of custody is crucial because it preserves the integrity and identity of evidence. Next naman, prevents tampering, contamination, or substitution. Next is ensures accountability of officers handling evidence. Kung sino yung nag-receive, sino yung nagpa-receive. So sila yung accountable doon. Establishes the admissibility of evidence in court. Kailangan yun ang pinaka-last dyan. Ma-establish nila na ito yung ebidensya na kuha namin doon at tanggapin siya ng korte as evidence. So, failure to establish a broken chain of custody may result in the acquittal of the accused due to reasonable doubt. So, as I have said earlier, ang conviction ng isang suspect is must be no reasonable doubt, beyond reasonable doubt. So, kailangan malinis yung mga perforations sa evidence. Yung identity niya, yung integrity niya, kung hindi siya maiwasan nila yung tampering or contamination, lalong-lalo na yung substitution. Kasi kapag ka nagkaroon ng ganoong doubt, yung suspect na kahit siya yung nang-rape doon sa bata, or kung siya yung may preliminary suspect doon sa ginawang krimen doon sa crime scene, hindi napatunayan to dahil doon sa ebidensya, lack of evidence at hindi na-establish yung integrity at identity ng evidence, maaari pa rin siyang maging acquitted. Ma-acquit siya doon sa ikinasa sa kanya. So yun yung ganun ka-importante ang chain of custody. Kasi kapag hindi to pwedeng magkaroon ka ng pagkakamali. Kasi pagka nagkaroon ka ng pagkakamali from the beginning of the process up to the presentation to the court as a physical evidence, hindi na to ma-admit as evidence. So sabi ko, broken chain, hindi na siya magiging admissible. Magiging questionable na siya, magiging basis na yun para hindi na siya gawing physical evidence. Chances, hindi makukonvict si suspect, ma-acquit pa siya. So yung effort from the beginning up to the presentation of the evidence is mawawalan ng saysay. Hindi na siya magagamit. Ganun ka importante yung maintindihan ng chain of custody. Kasi pag hindi ito naiintindihan ng mga law enforcers yung importansya ng chain of custody, laging sasablay yan. So, sa lahat ng mga defense lawyer, yan yung pinaka-tinitignan nila, chain of custody. Sa technicalities. Kapag nagkamali dun sa technicalities, magkakaroon ng pagkakataon na ma-acquit si suspect kahit siya yung gumawa ng krimen. So next natin, the integrity of evidence in criminal proceedings, particularly in drug and cybercrime cases, hinges on strict adherence to the chain of custody rule. This rule is not merely a procedural guidelines, but a fundamental legal requirement with a specific statutory and jurisprudential basis that if violated can lead to the outright dismissal of a case. So nagkaroon naman, same siya doon sa revised rules of courts ng 126 section 21. Dito naman yung sa intensify doon sa Republic Act 9165. So section 21 din siya. So this section meticulously outlines the protocol for the custody and disposition of confiscated drugs and drug paraphernalia, serving as the primary legal framework for managing drug evidence. So ito naman yung gagawin ni law enforcer during kung magkakaroon ng bypass operation or magkakaroon ng huli regarding sa drugs, ito yung dapat sundin ni law enforcers. Madalas naman siya entrapment or bypass operation ang ginagawa dun sa drugs. So, bihirang-bihira lang mangyari yung chance upon na may dalang during the checkpoint or the Oplan Cita na nagkataon na yun ang nagkaroon sila ng initial violation.
So,
Then, nagkataon na nahuli sila doon sa checkpoint or Oplan Cita na meron silang dala-dala. So, bihirang-bihira yung ganong senaryo. So, madalas ito, entrapment and bypass operation. So, paano ito gagawin ni law enforcer? Bakit? Kasi madalas dito nagkakaroon ng technical problem kung paano yung chain of custody from the start up to the finish. Kasi ang isang yung drug or yung isang shabu, kapag nakuha doon sa isang area, yung chances na magkaroon ng substitution is mataas. Okay? Nahuli ng 1 kilo, pagdating sa presentation, naging kalahating kilo. Nawala na yung kalahating kilo. So yun yung mga iniiwasan dito. Kaya kailangan masunod to. Kasi kapag nasunod to, magkakaroon ng conviction. Pero kapag hindi nasunod to properly, yung acquittal doon sa kahit nagtitinda siya ng 1 kilo, may nahuli na 1 kilo sa kanya, tapos hindi napatunayan na sa kanya yung 1 kilo na yun, maka-acquit siya. So, ganun ka masalimuot pagdating sa drug operation. Lahat din ng mga law enforcer dito madalas sumasablay. Lalo kapag magaling yung defense lawyer ng drug lord. O yun yung pinaka sad reality in practicing. Pag pinractice mo na siya, syempre hindi mo maiiwasan yung mga faults, hindi mo maiiwasan yung pagkakamali, pero kailangan as much as possible masunod yung proper procedure. Next natin, yung IRR na binigay ni Republic Act 9165 mandate strict compliance with procedures including detailed photographing. So kung ano yung nahuli doon sa crime scene or doon sa operation, sa entrapment or doon sa bypass, kailangan yun yung ipipresenta doon sa picture. Yung nasa picture na yun naman nang ipipresenta papunta doon sa court presentation. Yung proseso na yun, masalimuot siya. Kasi kailangan ma-determine din ni sa chain of custody doon sa custodian, tapos ipapasa naman doon sa ating mga forensic lab kung paano i-determine kung ito ba ay talagang shabu, pentamine hydrochloride. Tapos kapag napatunayan, then ipipresenta siya. Ngayon, nagkakaroon ng problema sa presentation. Kasi from the time of the na-apprehend with yung suspect with the yung shabu na gamit nila, na tinitinda nila, is nagkakaroon ng problema. Kasi ilang kilo yun, ilang sabi natin, ounce or ilang grams yung nakukuha doon. Yung ba yung ipipresenta sa court presentation? So yun yung pinakamalaking questions doon. So doon nagkakaroon talaga ng masigasig or masugid na pagbibigay ng pinaka-kailangan doon sa ebidensya. So paano magiging safety si law enforcer? Magiging safety si law enforcer kapag pinotograph niya. Kung ano yung nahuli, kung ano yung mga dala-dala, lahat yun. And then, yung precise inventory. Excuse me. Sa precise inventory, yan, hindi natin maiiwasan ang greed ng isang tao. Kahit ang law enforcer, nangyayari yan. Kailangan, kung ano yung nahuli doon, dapat yun ang ipresenta. Kung 1 kilo yung nahuli doon, dapat yun yung may presenta doon sa court presentation. At yun ang nakalista doon sa documentation, yung precise inventory. 1 kilo, 1 kilo. Okay, and then proper documentation and every stage of evidence handling. This ensures evidentiary integrity from seizure to presentation. Yun yung pinaka kailangan ma-maintain ng law enforcers, yung integrity. Kung paano siya nahuli, papunta sa presentation ng evidence. Next natin, Supreme Court guidelines. Meron tong decision na rito. So ito
Sir,
yung,
excuse
yes
me.
sir.
How many slides do you still have for this recall of concepts?
Yes
How
sir.
many slides?
Nasa ano po ito sir eh. Dala sir.
Can we move to the Q&A?
Q&A, sige po sir.
Oo, Q&A. Kasi this will be part of our regular lecture.
So,
Okay.
7-6 po sir eh.
So, Q&A na.
Sige po sir. Yan ako pa sana yung iba. Iyan ako na sa.
No, hindi na. Hindi, it's a demo, so we don't need to go through this lots of slides.
Yes
Okay.
sir.
Yeah, that's it. Let me see how you